Hello, you two fans, here again. And I've not done old classic hammer houses for a bit, so I figured why not, why not? That being the Tours of the Werewolf. Say it again, Tours of the Werewolf. Classic werewolf film from I think the early 60s. I think it was 1961. Now, I did the actors in this, the fact that you have Oliver Reed, may he rest in peace, Oliver Reed as the werewolf. And I might be right, I might be wrong. This was the first one to be in colour. Before you had classics like say like The Howling, American Werewolf in London. We all remember the old classic Universal werewolf films, like The Wolf Man from London and all the ones that I was talking about. This one, on the other hand, was the first one to be Technicolor, and if I remember right, it was the first time the Hammer House bought the rights to the classic werewolf films. I do actually like the story to this. Yeah, it's a bit of laughable now. It's the Oliver Reed, that's the werewolf, fake fur on his face. You've seen it loads of times. He's dragging a woman by the neck and all that. But I just like the story to it. I like the story. You know what I mean? It starts off you've got the great epic classical music, the old logo around in that era really brings memories back to. Remember, right, it was Universal Pictures to get that old look, really old stew look. And then you got the day opener, you see his eyes just staring at you, supposed to be the werewolf, Oliver Reed with the makeup on, just staring at you. And I thought, wow, what a day opening. And it's another day, interesting story. You got this rich guy, well, not rich guy, it might about dirt. You got this really, really poor, homeless guy, right? First, you feel sorry for him. This really shows you how cool the rich, upper class, stuck up people really are, right? Really does. Because he's got this poor guy, really homeless and everything, right? And he's a chaffing man. And they warn him not to go to this castle, the really rich, stuck up people. This rich guy's married this woman, and so on, right? Long below, you do get one well known actor in it. Think of Tissa Lemon. I think his name is Tiss Lemon. That's it, paid two. The man with the dad tits in the old classic Bond films, the one that paid two. He actually is in this film. He plays, I think, right, he plays a butler on a very small, brief scene. This is like, 2 days before he made his big break. Let's say, if I remember right, that from Russell Will Luff, that's when he makes his first appearance. So it's interesting to see his Lemon, make an appearance where he's not playing two. So he's there, they're making a fool out of this poor guy, they're throwing a dog bone at him. I mean, he's a laugh off the night, basically. They're really making a fun out of this homeless guy, having him dance about and just make a fool of himself. But he makes a big mistake. I think he says something about the man who's marrying the woman who's a king or something. And because of that, they lock him up for so many days. They lock him up in bars. And there's this woman in it. You got the idea she doesn't know how to talk. She's like a mute. And he's apparently, because he's quite pretty to look at, it turns out the one who's the king of the castle, he's an old man now. And he's lost his wife. And I think, right, he does tie it on with her, and because she pushes him away, he shoves her in bars with the homeless person. Now, don't forget, this is a 1961 film, so you're not going to see a rape scene, you're not going to see blood, you're not going to see gore and any of that. But you got the idea that this bum has raped the woman. But I thought for 61, that was pretty ballsy. It's pretty ballsy film for that. You know what I mean? You got the idea he's raped her, and she's got pregnant, right? So they come out of the bars, the guy ties it on with her again, the king, and she stabs him and then does a one-off. Long below, she tries to kill herself but doesn't get that far, and another guy finds her. She's got the idea he's rich as well, and so on. And she has the baby, and sadly she dies. And she got, I think the bit where he's a kid was laughable. You got the idea he's born as a werewolf. So I like that touch. It made it interesting. It made it a different no. It's not like your typical werewolf films where a guy gets bit or gets stabbed and then he's a werewolf. In this one, you feel more sorry for Oliver Reed's character because he becomes the werewolf and he had no choice. He didn't get bit, he didn't get stabbed. He was born as a werewolf. So I thought that's like a little bit of that Hammer House order to it. So I thought a bit where he's a kid, that's a bit laughable. You got a werewolf kid, he's going, I thought that was that laughable. But you got the idea that these sheep are getting killed and they think it's a wolf, and this guy shoots a dog, makes you feel sorry for the dog because it turns out it's not the case. And goes now into a couple of days later, you now got Oliver Reed makes his appearance. And he's working in a pub, he's trying to better himself, and he falls for this woman who's basically going to get married to a rich upper class pompous prat, basically. Really is a pompous prat. Reminds me of somebody I know. And so, at the end of the day, she falls for Oliver Reed. And then he realises he's now got this tool, so he's going to turn into a werewolf. There's a bit of where this woman, she's a filthy woman, and she wants to tie it on with Oliver Reed. Again, different era, different time. Not because a lot of nudity, not because all wham bam thank man. Save that for the late hour houses. But you got to turn into a werewolf. I like the fact they don't feel it straight away in like most classic werewolf films. You just get an early arm, drags it by the neck. You're not going to see a lot from 1961, but you got the idea he's killed her. And basically he's attacking and killing people, getting people by the neck, which is quite common for werewolf films. You don't see people getting ripped to pieces like American Werewolf in London. Different era, different time. But so he realises eventually he's a werewolf, and the only thing that's going to kill him is a silver bullet. Daddy feels sorry for him because he's fallen in love with this woman, and even he wants to die because he knows it's the only way to stop him from killing people. Silver bullet, kill me, put me out of my misery. And there's a bit of a say, if you fall in love, it will release the course. The bit of wish that would have happened, He falls to this woman, he gets married, sloppy kiss, and the toast goes away. Because he's sort of like Oliver Reed, He died trying to better himself and everything, and he's born with his honourable toast. He's turning into a werewolf and attacking people. So they're chasing him. The fella's laughable. Everyone's got Botox. It's a bit like the classic Frankenstein film. You get to see the fulfillment of the werewolf. Yeah, it's laughable now. Oliver Reed with fake fur on his face, trying to keep a straight face. You see he's trying to kill himself laughing at the same time. The guy fostered him as his son has no option but to shoot him with a silver bullet. Falls down brown bed. End of movie. Kind of funny, he's dead as a werewolf and he's lying there as the werewolf, but he doesn't change back on the famous links where he used to change. I thought that would have been a good little touch to see him back as Oliver Reed, the lung Oliver Reed with blood on him or something, a little bit of red blood, common in that era. But no, you just do see him as the werewolf. But saying that, it's not a bad film. It's a classic film from the 1960s, 1961. And it's interesting to see a very long Oliver Reed. It's interesting. This is the Oliver Reed I miss, before he wasted his life drinking his life away. This is Oliver Reed I missed. It's obviously a good actor. I reckon it would have been an everyday person playing this. If the film would have just been a typical monster film, it wouldn't be as memorable. But Oliver Reed, he plays a really good part in it. You feel sorry for the character. You feel sorry for the fact he's got this choice, what turns him into a werewolf. Then, okay, he's attacking and probably killing a few innocent people. All right, that woman's a bit of a slap-up. It's something sort to get flipping strangled. But, he's a werewolf, and, it's your typical werewolf films. You're going into it for blood and gore. The Hammer Houses didn't really get that bloody as when they went on. I've seen some of the old mummy films, and they're like fine. I reviewed all the Attack of the films with Christopher Lee. But it's a werewolf film. If you're going for a good little story, it's a good hour off your time. So check it out. 1961. It's a classic with Oliver Reed, a very long Oliver Reed. That being Trust of the Werewolf.